Well, they made history anyway, Yvonne, and I guess that is the story of this World Cup. It's been fascinating to chart that course throughout, and way back in the beginning, I remember some of the fans already singing "We are the champions, no matter what happens," and one of them telling me, "The Moroccan man is coming," and those words just ring true throughout this tournament. As you mentioned, they'll play Croatia for a spot in third place, so their run is not over yet, although, of course, they would have loved to have gone to the final here, but it wasn't to be, and no one can take away the fact that what they've achieved in this tournament has been nothing short of breathtaking for a whole part of the world that up until now has not been a key part of the World Cup. It's been dominated by South Americans and Europeans, and now we're signalling, the start of a new era.
Well, for France, it certainly was a performance to remember. What were some of the highlights for you?
Well, I think, France are looking like they're really struggling, to be honest. Morocco had the better part of much of that match. They just could not convert. But the French, they've got that title and they want to defend that title. There's only been two nations in the history of the World Cup that have been able to do that, and that was Italy back in the 1930s. And we've seen Brazil do that in 1958 and 1962. So, they've got history of their own that they're trying to make here. They do look tired. There is some sort of discussion around whether one of the champions who's been out injured, Karim Benzema, will actually be making a return for the final. We're yet to see how that all unfolds. There's still a couple of days to go. But on the other hand, you've got this incredible story also with Argentina and Messi, who is one of the greatest players of all time, captaining his side and wanting to add the one piece of silverware that has so far denied him and his trophy cabinet. So there's a lot on the line in this final between Argentina and France.
That's right. We're going to be seeing in the early hours of Monday morning France versus Argentina, or in the eyes of many, Messi versus Mbappe.
Absolutely, and there's no denying the fact that they're two of the most popular people here. If you look at shirts sold in the souk and people walking around with numbers on their back, if it's not Mbappe, it's Messi. And Messi's now competing in his fifth World Cup and has not been able to lift that incredible trophy. That's what he's aiming for. That's what the whole South American contingent is hoping for. But you've got this new hero coming through from France, a story in himself, one who they believe will challenge the greats. When you talk about the greats, you talk about names like Maradona, you talk about Messi, you talk about Ronaldo from Portugal, and now we've got Mbappe, one of the newcomers, one of the stars coming through for the French side, and nobody knows just what his future will hold, but he's one of the young guns and also in the running here to finish with the golden boot for the most goals. At the moment, Mbappe and Messi are both on 5 goals apiece for what they've scored here in the World Cup, and again, that's just another piece of silverware that's open for the taking.
And Tracey, we saw your tweet about where Australia officially finished in the competition. The Socceroos would be pretty happy about that.
I'd say so. So when all's said and done, you look at goals for, goals against, matches won, lost, drawn, and a whole lot of other, stats that are taken into place. And in that regard, Australia finished 11th overall, which is pretty phenomenal because heading into the World Cup, they weren't given any great raps. They managed to perform well and truly above expectation for so many people. And even, two of the teams that were ranked higher than us on the world standings, Tunisia and Denmark, we finished well above them in this World Cup tournament. So a real tribute to Graham Arnold, the coach, and of course every single player and all of the backroom staff that go into making a World Cup possible. Finishing 11th out of 32 nations is something to be pretty happy about.
It really is something to be proud of, and also a lot to look forward to this weekend. Tracey, thanks for updating us.
Thanks, Yvonne.